Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, good morning everyone. We are group 7 from 10 Science 1, which members are Khalifa Izzati, Keisha Putria, and Nadia Safa. Today, we will to tell you a story with a title, Si Pitung. So yeah, just keep on watching.
Pitung is a legendary figure and hero for Betawi people in Jakarta. He is believed to be a silat master yet so pious and humble. With his skills, he fought for ordinary folks that were oppressed by the colonial Dutch. He robbed those who became rich by being the colonial government henchman and distributed the loot to common people. He is known as the Robin Hood of Betawi. Up to today, Betawi people believe that Si Pitung did live and fight for them, and that he was buried in Marunda, North Jakarta. Here is a story of the legendary hero. At an afternoon, Papi Un was sitting around on the porch. He had just been working all day long at his farm. That time, he wished to relax with his family. Bupina, his wife, sat on a bamboo bed while touching her puffing belly. She was going to be a mother within days. Papi Un smiled calmly, praying that his soon-born child be a useful child. Of a sudden, one of his 3 children who surrounded Bupina asked him, "Father, why did you let Babah Lim hatchetman took the crops you just harvested?" Pi Un remained silent for a moment, then answered in a low voice, "That's all right, son. We still have some." In truth, Papi Un was mourning at heart. He did not expect his crops to be plundered. A commoner like him could not have done anything about it anyway. Rawabelong, his kampung, was part of Kebayoran private land. Lim Chengsun became the landlord after purchasing the land from the Dutch government on a condition that he would pay the tax. In controlling the land, Babah Lim hired some strong men from the neighborhood. Their job was collecting taxes from the people, who would not dare to fight a group cold-blooded men like them. The people would only stay silent when they took their chicken, goats, crops, and everything else. Several days later, Bupina gave birth to a son. Papi Un named his newborn child Pitung and called him Si Pitung. Like other Betawi kids in general, Pitung was raised in his own family. He learned manners, recited Quran, helped his father at the farm, picked coconut, and collected grass for their goats. Oftentimes, he voluntarily lent a hand to his neighbors. Pitung observed God's command, prayed and fasted, and always talked politely. He had great respect for his parents too. As he grew up, Pitung learned religion, silat, and other martial art from Haji Naipin, an Islam ulama from Kampung Rawabelong. The boy showed he was an assiduous and loyal student, making him dear to his master. To him, Haji Naipin passed on all of his skill with a hope that Pitung would be a useful man for others in the future. Haji Naipin even taught him the Pancasona ability that would make him invulnerable to any weapon. Haji Naipin said to Pitung, "This ability is for you to fight for the powerless against injustice. Don't use your power to do bad things to others." It was an honor for Pitung to be a Haji Naipin Dirs Papil, yet he stayed humble. Pitung treated others kindly all the time, but he was anyhow a young man with a flaming passion. He had a relationship with Aisyah, a pretty girl in the neighborhood, and promised her a marriage once they both came of age.
One day, Pitung saw with his own eyes the heartlessness of Babah Lim's hatchet men. They came to a man's house to plunder his chicken, goats, coconuts, and some crops from his rice barn. The young man was irritated. He wanted to teach them a lesson, but his mother held him back. "Don't you do that, Tung. They have control over this place. Be patient. They will get a punishment themselves." Obeying his mother, Pitung stood poised. On the other day, too, when he was stopping by a neighboring kampung, again he saw Babah Lim's men taking things from a man's house by force. Pitung ran out of patience and came over to them. "Losers," shouted Pitung. Why taking things from this powerless man? Here, you have a real opponent to fight. One of the men turned his face to Pitung and smiled with disdain. Apparently, he was the chief. Boy, I am pretty sure you don't know us. Stew! Pitung spat onto the ground in anger. 6 big men harassing one guy? I don't need to ask anyone to know you are losers. The chief became furious. He attacked Pitung rampantly, thinking that the young man would be easy to knock down. Surprisingly, Pitung managed to seize his arm and slam him hardly. With the man passed out, the others hurried to surround Pitung. Very quickly, Pitung attacked them first. One by one, he hit them in the face, making them faint or moan in pain. Be ready, young man. We'll report this to our boss, they said. Those who were conscious rushed to carry their fellows away. They ran off. Several days afterwards, Pitung was widely talked in Kebayoran, but he did not feel proud of it. In fact, he tried to avoid answering questions about the fight. One day, Papion asked his son to sell two goats to Tanah Abang market. Without him realizing, two scary men were following him. Pitung sold the goats quickly and put the money in his pocket. On his way home, he stopped by a small mosque. He took off his clothes and got in a nearby river. The stalkers moved closer quietly and took the money from Pitung's clothes. Pitung did not realize that. Angrily, he walked back to Tanah Abang market to find the thieves. Pitung came to them and said, "Give me back my money." The people were surprised, then burst into laughter. One of them said, "You can take your money for sure, but you have to be one of us." "I cannot think of myself becoming a filthy thief," sighed Pitung rudely. Offended by Pitung's word, they set on Pitung all at once. But their opponent this time was the man who beat up 6 Babah Lim's men all by himself. One by one they got hit by Pitung. Since that day, Si Pitung decided to dedicate his ability to help the weak. He could not stand seeing their misery, being oppressed by landlords and the colonial government. Some hated men he once turned into his fellows. He gathered them and formed a group of bandits. Together, they robbed rich people's houses and distributed the loot for the poor and helpless. Pitung's name had been a talk among the people. The landlords and rich people who took advantage of their own people by siding with the Dutch were very much concerned. They reported the problem to the colonial government. The Dutch office in Batavia commanded their staff to capture Si Pitung right away. South Hin, the controller Kebayoran district, ordered his personnel to find out where the fugitive was. He offered a big amount of money for anyone telling him Si Pitung's whereabouts.
Knowing he was sought by so many people, Pitung moved from one to place another down to Marunda. In that time, he continuously exacted from rich people's houses. Tyrants, local rules, and landlords, he gave what he took to the people in need, to those suffering from colonialism. One day, Pitung and his gang got set up by the police. That time they were breaking into a district head house. The police seized the house while Pitung was inside. He surrendered to the police to let his friend run away. He was soon confined at Grogol. Nonetheless, it did not take long for him to plot an escape. One night he got out from his prison troop on roof, sending Hujel into a sudden panic. "Where is Pitung, boys?" they asked Pitung's cellmate. "I don't know, he just disappeared," answered the prisoner. They escaped of their most dangerous enemy caused concern from the Dutch and local Rosel. Scott Heine ordered his men to arrest Papiun and Haji Naipin. He tortured 2 old men and told him where Pitung was. They did not speak a word and were sent to jail at Grogol. Pitung did not slack his action until he heard his father and master were in the police hand. He sent a message to the Dutch that he would give in if they released the old man. Scott Heine agreed. On the given day, They took Haji Naipin to a court. Papillon had been released free before. On the court, a troop of policemen pointed guns at Haji Naipin. Not long after, Pitung showed up. He was alone. When Scott Heine asked him to surrender, Pitung requested that his master be let go first. Haji Naipin was freed. Pitung came forward to Scott Heine. The policemen now turned their gun to Pitung. "Finally, Pitung," said Scott Heine arrogantly. "Yes, but trust me, I will run away again. I won't refrain from my action no matter how you guys are," answered Pitung with a smile. Pitung irritated Scott Heine. The controller was running amok. He took a few steps back quickly and told his men to ready their weapons. Haji Naipin, who was still there, was trying to stop them. The policemen fired their guns somehow. There, on the ground, Pitung fell down covered with blood. Pitung was buried several days later. Hundreds of people come to the funeral of their hero and pray for him. They would always remember si Pitung, their defender and protector. A couple of months later, Scott Heine was fired for having gunned down a man who did not resist when being captured. Although in the end, si Pitung gets killed by Dutch bullets, he dies as a hero and is always remembered by the people that way. This story conveys a message that a person who dares to stand up for justice and truth will bring goodness for himself and others. A coward like Scott Heine will do anything to quiet his opponents, but somehow he gets what he deserves.
So yeah guys, we think just enough from us. Thank you for your kind attention and thank you for watching. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.